Fellow Southern Cameroonians, good morning. This is Hon Sama Thomas. Today is 27th of August 2023. I want to respond to one audio put out by Victor Mbaa in his rebuttal to the outing that Comrade Chris made 2 days ago about the court ruling against the IG and Samuel Ikonesako. I'm responding to this audio because Victor Mbaa did mention my name in his outing. Because to Victor Mbaa, Samuel Ikonesako, and Nelson Ochemba, or he says Ochem or Ochiba, and every other person within the Sako ranks and file, when they hear the name Sama Thomas, the name is a nightmare to them. There is nothing these guys will put out there without mentioning Sama Thomas. I've been struggling with myself not to put out any audio because I know that if I put out any audio, it might hurt one or two persons. So I said, just stay out of the social media hypes. But unfortunately, I am not doing any good to myself. I'm not also doing any good to the entire Southern Cameroon's people by staying silent, thinking that others will learn anything from my silence and be silent as well. But I've given them the opportunity to say whatever thing they want to say and go away with. There was a time when Nelson Ochiba and Sako and a host of others were fabricating messages, sending them out that those messages were coming from an agreement between my brother Comrade Ayaba and La Republic's government. These guys were absolutely paying La Republic newspapers to be publishing all those fake information that they were putting out. I shouted to them, please, we should stop this nonsense, for it's not helping the struggle in any way possible. They took an offense for that. Since 3 years that these guys started doing all these things, up to this moment that I'm talking, they are still just there doing the same thing. Their own struggle for the liberation of the Southern Cameroons is accusing every other Southern Cameroon that does not buy their opinion for being an agent of La Republic du Cameroon. Like I asked some time ago, if all Southern Cameroonians are agents of La Republic du Cameroon, who now is fighting for the liberation of the Southern? Because according to these guys, the only sent around is Sako, Ikome Samuel. So now, it means even Victor, who is talking, is an agent of La Republic, for he doesn't believe in himself, and the only person that can be trusted so far as the Southern Cameroon struggle is concerned is Ikome Samuel Sako. Can Ikome Samuel Sako, as an individual, free the Southern Cameroons? The answer is no. But let me go back to what I really set out for. Victor Mba, I got two things in your rebuttal which I want to give my own opinion about those. One of the most important things you raised was the name comrade. The name comrade. About 4 years ago, when you people set off with this thing that Sako must be addressed His Excellency, I said no. We are not in Boya to address anybody His Excellency. I even went further to tell you guys that when I was following Mugabe and his contemporaries, you hardly hear other guys who were in the bush with Mugabe address Mugabe as His Excellency. They always address Mugabe as Comrade Mugabe, not leaving out Sam Nujoma of SWAPO of Namibia. His friends were always addressing him comrade. Victor Mba, I never went to school, but I read Animals Farm and could hear old Major all along advising and calling every other animal in the farm, telling them all of us are comrades and equal. Everything that goes on four legs and wings, they are comrades, and we are all equal. Nobody is above the other. Why am I bringing this story back, Victor Mba? I'm bringing this story because the people of the Southern Cameroons are still fighting to liberate the Southern Cameroons as comrades in arms. We are all comrades fighting to liberate South. The day we will liberate Southern Cameroons, and an election is organized with Samuel Ekome Sako elected by at least 3 million Southern Cameroonians. If our population is 8 million, as La Republic is like downplaying it, that is 2 million. But we know that our population, and I know that our population is above 10 million. If truly this population is 10 million, then we will have a voting population of at least 4 million people. At least 4 million. If these 4 million people now voted for Sako, we can now give Sako the name His Excellency. But even giving Sako the name His Excellency, I, Sama Thomas, will not even still address Sako His Excellency. I will say address Sako comrade. Let me even tell Sako, he is not even fit to be addressed by me, Sama Thomas comrade. Yes. For people do not know things. Sako is not even fit to be addressed by me, comrade. Why is Sako not fit to be addressed by me, comrade? Sako joined this struggle just about 5 years ago. But I've been in this struggle for more than 30 years. More than 30 years. I will address my brother Ayaba, comrade Ayaba. I will address my brother Akwanga, comrade Akwanga, but will not even address Sako a comrade. For addressing Sako a comrade, I'm giving him a title he does not deserve. Yes, for me to address Sako a comrade, I am giving him a title he does not deserve. Now, let me go to the court case that you are saying that Chris Ano is lying. I cannot really understand where you are coming from. But still, you said Chris Ano is lying about the court case that Sako took the IG to court in the United States. You told one truth in what you were saying, that the legitimate arm of the struggle is the IG, which Sako was formerly the head, or you call it Mr. President, or you call it whatever you want to call it. He was impeached and removed. So it remains the same IG that Sako was its head, impeached, not by Kometa. Victor Mbaa, Sako was never impeached by Kometa. Sako was impeached by the Restoration Council. The same Restoration Council that elected Sako as Mr. President. The same Kometa that installed Sako as Mr. President was the same Restoration Council that impeached Sako and removed him as Mr. President. So, are you now saying that Sako created the Restoration Council, appointed himself Mr. President, and was a superman of the Southern Cameroon struggle that cannot be touched by anybody? Had it been Sako was a dictator, like he told us some time ago, that if it is a revolution and it's not a dictatorship, then it's not a revolution. But unfortunately, he failed to recognize the fact that he was elected by the Restoration Council and given a mandate, which he took an oath to that mandate. But when it was time for him to give way, he said, over his dead body, he's now Didi Amin Dada. It's not going to work with the Southern Cameroon struggle. We will never condone dictators like Sako. The Southern Cameroon struggle from inception has been a democracy, a democratic system, and will never embrace a dictatorial system which Sako attempted imposing in this struggle. And anybody who will ever show that ugly head of his to be a dictator in this struggle, we are not going to take it lying down with that person. So, Sako took the IG to court, and the IG defeated Sako. Victor Mbaa, you are saying that Chris Ano is lying. If the verdict will be published, as it will be published in 2 weeks' time, and you see into it that Chris Ano is not lying, what will you say? Will you still come out to make the same statements which you've just made and all the insults you've poured on Chris Ano? What I used to hate with you, Victor Mbaa, and Commando, is that when you guys are telling all these your lies, you are using the Bible to cover it up with. I've told you guys severally that please, when you are talking, so far as the Southern Cameroon struggle is concerned, Because I've known you people for being pathological liars. Keep the Bible out of it. For if you keep on quoting the Bible when you are telling lies, that's blasphemy. Victor Mba, you've blasphemed severally and commando against God. If at all God do exist though, because the impression you guys have given to us, who are Christians, who are even still Christians, struggling to understand if God really exists, is that you guys have shown to us that you guys were using God as a cover-up to your crimes and make some of us doubt if God is real. Yes, Victor Mba, people like you have made us to doubt if God is real, for you cannot be using the same God that we are so afraid of to be blaspheming, to be telling lies to other Southern Cameroonians. Victor Mba, for your information, the first hearing of this matter that appeared in court 2 months ago, you said Sako was not the one who took the IG to court. What was Sako doing in court on that day that the judge called the IG to come and have a negotiation with Sako to see if the matter can be negotiated behind the courtroom or out of the courtroom? What was Sako doing in court on that day? If Victor Mba, what you are saying is true, what was Sako's interest in court on that day? If he's less concerned. Even the day of the hearing proper, which is about 5 days ago, Sako himself was in around the court premises, but he was so ashamed of himself to get out of the court and enter the car and enter the court. For it seems he has sensed the disgrace. He has sensed the disgrace that was coming his way. That's why he chose not to enter the court. You see, I've been struggling with myself to say, let me not make this type of audios that will be divisive, that will be tearing us apart the more. But people like you, Victor Mba, con pastor, yes, fake pastors, will not allow me go away with all this nonsense. For you keep on pushing people's balls, not knowing. Like I asked, for the past 2 years, every other person has been talking about collaboration, unity, reconciliation. But I've never heard you guys within the Bitcoin gang talk about collaboration and unity. All you know is Sako is God Almighty, the omnipresent and omnipotent Sako. So God cannot even negotiate. God cannot even reconcile with any other person because he is God Almighty. If God is God Almighty and cannot reconcile with anybody, why did he create mankind knowing that mankind will start quarreling with him? So God, who is God Almighty, must even come down from his high horse to negotiate with the same man he created, knowing that the man was going to have his own independent opinion against him. So he must reconcile with him to see where if they can find a fine line to work on. But for you people, you have a God which is a God that does not recognize the fact that he created man, and that man has his own opinion, which is different from his, and they need to sit and talk and find a fine line to work on. So then their God is a funny God that people do not even know how the gods operate. So Victor Mbaa, whenever you are talking to Southern Cameroonians, keep the Bible aside, you hypocrite. But most importantly, let me go to something which Sako also said. Sako made a statement which I forced Sako 4 years ago to make that statement, and he refuses to make that statement. So now the question I ask, what is the relationship between Sako and Aringwa? When Nelson Ochemba burst out into tears, because I would say he burst out into tears after the Bitcoin gang has been defeated in court, he said, what happened to the Bitcoin gang is because Aringwa is spreading her legs just everywhere. When Chris Ano made the same statement, Sako didn't come out to rebuke. When Chris Ano made the same statement, it was an offense against Aringwa, and Chris needs to be punished for that offense. Nelson Ochemba had made the same statement. Then Sako was silent, but removed Chris Ano. Nelson Ochemba had made the same statement. Sako had jumped out of the hole he was hiding in 4 years ago. When I wanted him to make that statement, when Ochemba was destroying, blackmailing, and assassinating Comrade Abdul Karim's image, I asked you, Sako, to rebuke Nelson Ochemba. I told you, call him from behind, talk to him that he should stop all those things that he was doing. If he does not, come publicly to denounce it, which you, Sako, never did. What was so peculiar in what Nelson Ochemba has said now, that you jump out from your hole like a futambo to rebuke Nelson Ochemba, that he must not be talking? Because I really put these words in your mouth 4 years ago, that tell Nelson Ochemba that what you are doing, you are not doing it on my behalf, or you might be telling you are doing it on my behalf, not knowing that you are destroying me. I put the words in your mouth 4 years ago that get out publicly, and you make that statement there, which you refuse. So now, what is so peculiar with Nelson Ochemba's statement today that has forced you to come out and make that statement? And how important is Aringwa in this struggle that you, Sako, must defend her at all cost? What relationship do you have with Aringwa? This is the billion-dollar question that Southern Cameroonians are asking. What relationship do you have with Aringwa that it can be to hell with the entire struggle, but let me defend Irene? Like the Caesar said, I've come to kill Caesar and not to free Caesar. What is so peculiar about Aringwa with Sako than for Sako to defend the struggle? Let him defend Irene Ngwa. Southern Cameroonians need to find out what is the relationship between Irene Ngwa and Sako Ikome Samuel, that he prefers Irene over this struggle. Victor Mbaa Let me come back to you. In my video that my audio that I put out 3 days ago, I was really pleading with you, Victor Ba and Commando, that please, we've passed on a lot of debt under the bridge. Let us stop that debt to be flowing downstream. We should clear the stream from upstream to make the water clean for all of us to drink. Pleading that we should stop all this blackmailing of one another. We should be real pastors of the world, if at all we are pastors to be reckoned with. Pastors that preaches reconciliation and not hate. Pastors that preaches mercy and not an eye for an eye. But unfortunately, I didn't know that I was even a more pastor than Victor Ba, that looks at things differently. For I really called upon the IG. Like I told Sako in 2020 or so, that the match, which our diplomatic friends have asked us to match on the 1st of October, before they can know who to deal with, we've matched. They have seen. We have also seen that we have the population on the ground. But how can we use now this advantage that we have on the ground to call on Comrade Ayaba Akwanga to come and let's sit as a people and talk and work as a united team, which Sako never did. When the verdict of the court case which Sako took the IG to court came out, I still plead with the IG. Let us not use it as an advantage, because nobody has won this case. We have spent money within the IG for lawyers, which was monies we could have given to our fighters on the ground to fight this war with, like Sako and his Bitcoin gang have done same. So if it was a loss situation in that aspect, but it was a win-win situation, for the court has recognized and given legitimacy to its rightful owner, which is the IG. We shouldn't use it to celebrate. We should use it as a means to reconcile with our brothers and sisters and call everybody to come together and let us work as a united people. But unfortunately, nursing this idea of unity with me all along, the fake pastors of the world like Victor Ba and I believe Commando were bent on their destructive mission of calling just every other Southern Cameroonian a sellout. People who have been bribed by La Republic. Victor Ba, I always say bribe is a secret agreement between two persons. And if a third party is in the know of any bribery and corruption, it therefore means that third party was the middleman. And a middleman's own share of the goodies is higher than that of this third party. In this bribery and corruption that La Republic had bribed Hon Sama Thomas and every other person that is working with him, Victor Ba, how much was your share for that bribe came through you? How much was your share? You cannot take all the money and pass it on without ruining your soul. Now, how much was the total amount and how much was your share? Tell Southern Cameroonians no. Sama Thomas.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Sunday. This is the People's platform here, and I've read a lot of messages and listened to audios. I want to thank everyone who is participating in making this platform a place that can bring us together. I want to add my voice to the many voices that are here or on this debate, whether we should allow Sako with all the properties, public properties under their keeping. I would think that this is an issue to be debated in the People's Restoration Council. We are going to see. We must not leave Sako with all this. You must attack the bull by the horns. Sako does not mean anything good for Ambazonian people. If we don't like to keep the ABC radio station, we just take it from Sako and throw it away. Because if you give a knife to a madman, or you leave a knife in the hands of a madman, you know one day he will use this knife to put you down. ABC in the hands of these terrible people, the gang of Sako. It's a bad tool. We know that they have done a lot to destroy the reputation of this our revolution through ABC. So we cannot leave them with the ABC. Since he took us to court and God has given us the victory, we have to use this opportunity to enforce the laws. He has to respect the laws. When someone is taken out of office, that person hand over everything to the new people. And that is just exactly what Sako will do. We shouldn't pretend to become more Christian than any other person. You people should know that Sako is pretending to be a pastor, but a gang leader. So if you play with a gang leader like that, and when you fall in his net, he will not let you go free. So we must think about this in the Restoration Council, because I'm seeing some Restoration Council members here are thinking that we should sympathize. We should just take him like an innocent person. I would say no. We have to call him to book. He has to return everything that was in his keeping. That's it.
Good morning.